Hello Aries, I am Poetic Heretic and welcome to my new channel where I will be doing monthly tarot readings for each sign of the zodiac from now on. This is your Aries tarot forecast for the month of January 2017. Do remember that you can use these videos for your sun, rising, and moon signs. So without further ado, let us begin. You're coming into the month with the Empress. These are your outside influences currently surrounding you. The Empress, she's all about beauty, love, money, harmony, success in business, and for some of you, this card is also going to indicate pregnancy. This is probably the strongest indicator of pregnancy in the entire deck. So some Aries out there may be experiencing that. For those of you that pregnancy is not even an option, like I said, it's likely going to refer to beauty, love, harmony, success at the beginning of the month. And following that, we have the Temperance card for what may help or hinder you, and this card can also be looked at as the challenge card. And so as I looked deeper into this, the general vibe I got seeing the Temperance card crossing over the Empress card here is that while you're walking into the month with this sense of abundance, either in a material sense or in a more spiritual sense or non-physical sense, whatever, there's almost this nagging sensation of wanting to find the meaning, wanting to find the purpose, the deeper meaning of things. And it's probably not something that you're going to be able to get away from. It's something that you want to explore. And the Temperance card did come up reversed when I drew it, which does imply the likelihood of some difficult times. However, overall, the spread that I'm seeing here is not anything indicating anything too horrible, so I don't want to worry anyone because that's not really what this spread is about. What this spread is about is an inner transformation. I might as well just get right to it right now. This spread is overall about an inner transformation, an inner journey, especially with the Death card as the underlying energy. This card is all about change and transformation. It's about exploring the dark side of things and bringing what's hidden to the surface. It's about entering the underworld cycle, entering into the umbra. And so that's going to be a huge theme for Aries in general for the month of January 2017. And as we come to the past card here, we have the Eight of Wands. This is representing issues that you've had to deal with that then kind of led to the present and the rest of the month. The Eight of Wands, when we're talking issues you've had to deal with, there's been too much haste. There may have been conflict, fights, disagreements, forced issues, feeling like you're having to rush too much or like things are getting maybe out of control. Also with the Temperance card here, for some of you, what's happening this month in January could be as bad as a spiritual crisis, but like I said, overall the spread is not that bad or that dark. But then for others of you, it might just be a need to look more at at the dark side. So for some, it might be kind of sort of intense spiritual crisis, but then for others, not so much. Just an exploration of the deeper realms. So it's like saying, you've had all this, you've had some of these issues, fights, conflicts, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe some of you have just felt a little too rushed because if it hasn't been fights and conflicts, it's been that you've been feeling too rushed, most likely. And it's like at the beginning of the month, you are getting a bit of a reprieve here with the Empress. I almost said the High Priestess, who is coming up later. With the Empress, you're getting like a reprieve. This is probably referring especially to New Year's Day celebrations and enjoying all of the festivities and more like physical, material world pleasures that go along with that. So it's like you're getting a reprieve, but there's this underlying energy of change and inner change, a change within, not so much in the outer world, and we're going to get more into that. But next up we have the Six of Swords reversed for what you want to achieve. Now when this card is reversed and in the what you want to achieve, it's most likely saying that you want to let go of some kind of blockage that you feel. It could be that you want to move on. You want to release emotional baggage. You want to let go. And the fact that it's reversed and some of the other cards here coming up, it's kind of like saying that you're having trouble doing that. But this card is more or less encouraging you to try to let go of that blockage and move forward with your life. And it's saying that's what you're trying to do, basically. And remember, we've got the Death card, underlying energy of change and transformation. So it's definitely something that you're consciously aware of, even though it's something that is taking place in the depths of your mind and your soul, even perhaps. And so then we come to the Fool card reversed for the near future. So this will be early in the month of January. The Fool card reversed. You could be feeling too reckless. You could be feeling like things are getting a little too crazy. This card reversed can also mean delays, however, and that's a bit of a theme I'm seeing here. The possibility of delays. So it's almost like there's all this change going on. There's been change maybe on a more physical level going on, like in the physical world. But now this month, there's inner change going on, and in the more physical world, there's just delays. There's not a lot happening on the surface. It's all happening beneath the surface. However, what's interesting here about the Fool card coming up reversed is that the Fool card, when it's upright, it's a card of setting out on a new journey. It's known as both the first and last card of the major arcana, and so it's about setting out on a new journey. Well, this is a new journey, all right, but it's not the new journey that the Fool is normally taking, where he starts out going through the Magician, then the High Priestess, then the Empress, etc., and then eventually enters into the underworld later in the major arcana. No, this time I think the Fool card came up reversed because this is referring to a new journey into the underworld, into the dark side of things, an exploration of those hidden realms. And so that's probably why it came up reversed. That's like the most likely interpretation in my mind. You are entering on a new journey this month, but it's a dark journey. But it's not like a dark journey as in hard times, though. For some of you, it may manifest as that. It's a necessary experience that will be transformative, and that ties right into the High Priestess which we'll get to soon enough, but also, of course, the Death card, change and transformation. The Death card is all about transformation. So it's basically a month of transformation. However, the Page of Swords reversed, your attitude or position on the situation, tells me that about halfway through the month, you're going to be feeling some difficulty in adapting to whatever's going on. This could be referring to the more physical changes and craziness, like in the physical world, and or it could be referring more to the spiritual, the inner changes. You're feeling like it's difficult for you to adapt to it. Maybe things are feeling a little too crazy. Maybe with the Fool card reversed for you, it was that you were too risky, too daring, and now you're regretting it. You're actually wanting to become more stagnant so you don't have to deal with all of this, and almost wanting to withdraw into yourself, which takes us right into the next card. It's like saying, with the Hanged Man as the outside force coming in, it's like saying that all of that which surrounds you, your external situations, are encouraging that sort of withdrawal, because the Hanged Man here is that inner reflection, and it can also, in a more negative sense, even mean delays, but in this case, they would be delays that you actually want to experience because you're feeling like things are getting a little too crazy. Next, we come to the High Priestess. For your hopes or fears. Now, again, look at this theme that we've got going on here. You're actually hoping to have this transformation on some level. Again, some of you could be feeling halfway through the month like it's getting to be too much, but at least on some level, even for those, you're wanting this transformation. You're wanting to explore the secrets. You're wanting to find out the truth. You're wanting this change and transformation. You're wanting to step back from the world for a bit and reflect and figure things out. But in a more fearful sense, since this is your hopes and your fears, you could be afraid that you're going to be deceived. You could be afraid that it's all going to be too much and it's going to wear you out, that you're going to feel tired, that you're going to feel depressed, that you're going to feel uncertain, that things are going to be confusing, that you may encounter psychic attack, and that sort of thing. However, do not fear, because from the looks of it, what's most likely going to happen with Aries in general is you actually end up doing very well, and by the end of the month you close it out with the Nine of Pentacles, which is basically saying that your endurance and faith pay off. This is a card of total success. This is a card of wealth and luxury and independence and self-sufficiency. And it's interesting because it's almost like you've come full circle. This card is fairly similar in meaning in a lot of ways to the Empress card that we started with. So it's like Aries, you've gone through this transformation this month and you've come full circle, and you're so much better and wiser and smarter for having had the experience. And it is a 9, and 9s are a closing of a door, and so all the more appropriate to end the month with. It's almost like this in and of itself is a whole cycle, maybe a miniature cycle. It only lasts a month, if it is, but it's like it ends around, most likely around the beginning of February, actually, because this is a 9. This is saying it's almost done and over with, but pretty much by the end of January, it's just about done and over with. And the good news is, it looks like for the vast majority of you, you have success. Things turn out well for you. You don't have to worry so much about the things that you're afraid of, as indicated by the High Priestess card here. Instead, when you're hoping to discover those secrets and to embrace the change and transformation and to be renewed by it, to experience that process of renewal, you're more or less going to get what you want. You're more or less going to get that. And in fact, in the context here, even though this is the Nine of Pentacles and referring more to the physical realm of wealth and luxury, it may in this case be referring to a more spiritual luxury, or an inner abundance in a sense. So that's about it, Aries. I hope you enjoyed this spread. I hope it was meaningful to you and insightful to you. I always tell people that tarot cards are so much more than mere fortune telling. They're actually deep spiritual insight that is valuable in so many ways, probably even if you're just watching a video like this. So I really hope that this was beneficial to you. This has been a tarot spread for Aries from Poetic Heretic. Thanks for watching.